Well, welcome to the end of the course. I promised you at the very beginning of the course that you might leave this course feeling like you knew less about time than you did when you started. I hope that's not the case, but I can understand if it is, because in fact, we probably all started thinking about time more or less knowing what it was. And to break another promise from earlier, as Chicago said many years ago, does anybody really know what time it is? It's a joke. It's a joke from rock and roll. But more importantly, it's a question that I think we can answer in a different kind of way than we did before. At the beginning of the class, we knew what time was, but we couldn't define it. Now we can define it in many different ways from many different vantages and many different viewpoints, but I'm not sure that we know precisely what it is because it can be many different things. So where do we go from here? Well, I think there are two things we can think about. The first is a rather scientific, academic, and rigorous look at time. For example, on our campus here at the University of the Sciences, we're studying time in various different kinds of ways. We have students looking at time and cognition. We have students trying to figure out how time works with animals. We have other faculty looking at the question of time and religious ritual. I'm very interested in the idea of how time works within ourselves, this idea of ontological time, and what that means when we study history or we think about memory. And my point here is that there are many ways we can get at this question of, does anyone really know what time it is? And even if you don't choose to go off to sort of graduate school right now and study time, I think you and I and everyone around us can try to be a little more careful in how we experience time in our everyday lives. So now when you're going to a museum, think about what that museum is saying about time. Think about what art is saying about time. Thinking about what the batter is saying about time when he says that he can see the seam of the ball as it comes at him before he hits it out of the park. Think about what it means when football players are in the zone. What does that mean about time? Think about how your child might experience time differently than you do. Think about how a musician can see time in front of her, that time is a space that needs to be filled up with notes. So time is, of course, all around us. It's above us and below us and around us and in us and out of us. It is external to us, it is internal to us, but it's also part of nearly everything that we do. And my invitation to you is to think about time in all of those different aspects, in all of those different disciplines, and in every point of your life. Thanks a lot.